Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Olivia Joiner, welcome to ATV-TALK. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Hey, it's just another day in paradise for me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, think of the alternative, right?
yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So you are a member of the WMX, and anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's the Women's Professional Motocross. And Olivia, the season's what, 4 rounds in, or what is it, 2 rounds in for you guys, or 3 rounds in for you guys?
Yeah, this will be our third this coming weekend.
Excellent. Where's that going to be at?
It's gonna be at Ironman in Indiana.
You like that track?
I didn't get to race it last year because I was sick. I was pretty disappointed about it, but I know it's like a hard pack track, so it's a little bit my speed. I'm definitely more of like a rough, like deeper kind of track, but you adapt and learn.
Right. How long have you been racing in the WMX?
In WMX, I've been maybe 3 years now.
So this is your third season.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
You seem to be pretty young as well.
Yeah, I'm 19, so a
So you
little bit.
transitioned, yeah, you transitioned really young. What, when you were
Yeah,
17?
yeah.
Wow. That's young for a professional athlete in motocross to transition. Usually, at 19 or 20, they want you to transition. Uh,
Hmm.
eh, how does it feel for you at this young age to be racing in that class?
Um, Honestly, it's pretty like pretty cool feeling to have, especially like when you tell people and like them seeing how young you are. It's definitely I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Did you start racing WX before you graduated high school?
I did, yes.
How did your classmates take that you were a professional ATV racer?
Um, well, it's kind of hard like where I live because it's not a huge thing. Um, because like in Canada here, like there's not a lot of quad racing like at all. Like there's some over in Quebec, but here in Ontario, there's no more quad racing.
So, being that you're in Canada, um, is there any ramification of coming to the States and racing, uh, as far as, government restrictions or anything like that?
Um, Not overly. No, we've been like really lucky with coming across, and everything with that. It's just like we can't bring our own food over, and like just like certain things we can't bring over. We have to purchase in the States, but that's really all the trouble we have.
So you pack your cooler when you cross the line.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you guys travel home after every race?
Yeah, the last 2 years we've come home after every race.
Man, have you thought about buddying up with one of the gals in the class or another teammate and staying in the States so that you could train and just not have to travel back and forth?
I did get to stay with my boyfriend Landon and his family. They live over in Illinois, and I got to ride a little bit more between races last year, but that's really about it.
So it's not something that you plan on doing all the time.
No, it's hard with having to come home and work between races.
Oh, that job thing, isn't it horrible?
Oh yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I am a small engine tech. I work for my dad.
So elaborate a little bit more on the small engine tech.
Um Currently right now I work at a it's like a Honda dealership and a like a rental business. So we like fix four-wheelers, dirt bikes, all that kind of stuff.
So
Yeah.
you build engines, or do you just do light engine repair?
Kind of both. I've done a super mini motor myself. I've done porting on that which was a pretty cool experience to do. And I did my own like top end and everything on my four wheelers, and I do some of my maintenance on my brother's bikes.
So your brother races too?
He does, yes.
Wow. That's, I think that's pretty awesome. Do you know who Hannah Hunter is?
I don't. I'm sorry.
WXC gal, three-time champion, and she does a lot of the maintenance
Hmm.
and work, most of it on her machines. I think that's incredible that where did the desire to work on the machine come from? Because there's a lot of gals that just won't do it.
Yeah. I think it definitely came from like my dad. He's always like he's built every single quad that I've raced. And I was just kind of like always out there and like always asking questions about it. And he'd be like, oh, like you can come over here and help me with this. And it was just kind of like something we did together. And yeah, it was just kind of sparked from there, I guess.
So how does it work? Your brother doesn't want to do the work on the machine, so you take over for him?
Um, well, he's still only like he's 9 right now, turning 10 in July. So he's kind of at the age like he'll do some, but it's not like I don't know.
Right, I get it. I get it. He's
Yeah,
still young and wants to go do other things, yet he hasn't figured it out.
yeah.
As working for a Honda dealer and where you guys do repairs and things like that, have you gotten a chance to go through any of the Honda schools, or do they still offer those?
Um, I did try actually this year. I was supposed to be at a school up in North Bay for a motorcycle technician. So I was gonna get my certification to work on like dirt bikes and motorcycles and have them safety and everything. But as of here, I don't believe there is. I am trying to go into the States for school next year and try to get my like either Honda certification, like you said, or even like all of them, just to open my opportunities to work in anything really.
I think that that's outstanding because if you're a certified Honda mechanic or one of the other brands certifies you, that just opens so many doors for
Hmm.
you in that world. Not let alone the fact that you can ride and race.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
because my dream right now for a career is like getting on a factory team and being like a supercross mechanic.
that's a great dream. That,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of some of the schools that are the call like colleges or trade schools that you can go to.
Hmm.
Um, but there are some guys that I've met that have went there that are okay.
Yeah.
But they were also self-taught in so many different aspects. When you work on a machine that's been sitting in a field for 6 months or a year versus a machine that's been in a lab, it's
Hmm.
totally different.
Yeah.
Do you guys get farm equipment and machines that have been basically abused
Yeah.
where you live?
Yeah, we get a lot of that and like four-wheel drive four-wheelers too that have just been like left or just neglected too on their like maintenance and stuff.
What's the weather like where you live? I mean, how many months of the year are you guys in cold or bad weather?
We start getting snow around like November. We actually had a lot of snow on Halloween this year. Like it was snowing. My siblings were out trick or treating, and we still have like in certain spots where the sun like isn't shining all day. It still has little piles of snow right now.
You're kidding, right?
No, I wish I was.
Oh my God. I have family, my son and his wife and kids live in Idaho.
Oh,
And one April they sent me a picture. I saw him on Sunday. We had FaceTime. It was beautiful, sunny. And the next day there's, 5 inches of snow. And I'm just like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just not gonna live there. It's not gonna
No.
happen.
No, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the cold. I don't like the snow.
Have you ever thought about moving to the States?
I would love to move to the States. That is a goal of mine. I don't know if it'll happen, but is definitely a dream to work towards.
Yeah, because that's where all the supercross teams are located. Oh,
Yeah.
they have some motorcycle racing in Canada though, don't they?
Yeah, it's definitely bigger like dirt bikes for here. They have like teams and stuff that travel here.
With your love of that, okay, I got to ask this question first. Who's your guy in Supercross?
Currently, for 250s, I'm a Cole Davies fan,
Okay.
Yamaha rider, and for 450s, I have to say Jet Lawrence, just because he's a Honda rider. But since he's out right now, I'd say I'm rooting for Chase Sexton right now.
How do you go from the Honda guy to the KTM guy?
Well, the Honda guy's out right now, so I need somebody to root for.
And you can't root for the Yamaha guy?
I could.
So let me ask you some professionalism questions.
Hmm.
Did you watch Supercross on Saturday?
I did, yes.
Okay, you know, we could get into the rough riding conversation back and forth. I don't think that it was a takeout move. I think he could have gave the guy more room.
Hmm.
Davies probably maybe made a mistake at the same time. It's the behavior on the podium is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
In racing in the States during the ATV portion of your career, do you ever see anything like that happening?
Like in four wheelers?
Yeah, and like in the ATV stuff.
I don't think I've ever seen something to that extent. I I don't know.
You're a professional, so what is your professional opinion of a rider that would do that?
If I witnessed a rider doing that, I don't know, like if it was in a negative way, I wouldn't like them very much. I don't know.
Well, speaking to the crowd the way that he did, those are the
Yeah.
people that pay his salary ultimately. Do
Hmm.
you think that Yamaha would sponsor you if you spoke to your fan base like that?
Um, I'm not actually like, I don't know, because he's a great rider. It's just the way he, I guess, it is like the way he speaks is definitely like there's some, I don't know what the word I want here, but
He's a
yeah,
spoiled child,
yeah, a
just
little
like his
bit.
dad. I come from the era when his dad was metal militia. We got to go to some Honda signings when he was there, and then it transitioned into my brother is super good friends with a former factory Honda rider and Marty Hart, three-wheeler
Okay.
day. I don't know if you remember those days or have been
Don't.
about them. Um, and when we went to the truck side of it, where we were pitting for Marty in the trucks, um, Deegan was driving trucks over there. So I've got to see the antics from the father and the son. And it's just about professionalism, is what I think that if you go back to the old Honda days, this is way before your time, young lady. Um, they would never have tolerated it. Not
Hmm.
1 ounce. You just could not act up.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, look, Jeremy McGrath and them parted ways over, I believe, tattoos.
Oh, really?
I don't know all the details, but that
Hmm.
had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just wanted to get another professional's take on behavior.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it seems to me like none of the gals that you race with have any issues. So you guys all seem to be friends.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great community between all of us, really. Like, I've grown up with most of them racing. Like, we started on 90s and we've gone all the way up with actually most of the girls in that class. We've all raced together since then.
That's pretty incredible that you have a group of people that you get to spend that much time with. How
Hmm.
did your family find out about the nationals?
So, I used to actually race a series here before they said no more quads. And I kept asking my dad if there was like more out there, I guess. And he's like, oh, well, there's this race at Unadilla. This was 2015, I think, or the year before that. And we tried it out. and I think I won, and we're like, oh, maybe we could actually do this. And then the year after that, we went to a couple more, and then 2019 was kind of like the first year I actually like we fully committed to a full season.
That's pretty awesome. And
Yeah.
how many years have you been on a 450?
On a 450, I would say three years.
Since you transitioned to WMX?
Hmm.
Do you ride any other classes?
So I raced the women's class also. I have a championship in that class. That was 2023. I won that class. It's a very big moment for me because I've always been second leading up to that. And but it's always been like super close, which is like almost better than like, winning it all kind of thing or coming second every time. Like it was yeah, it was yeah, pretty cool. And I also this year I want to try racing 450B or one of the B classes just to have another race on Sunday because having one race on Sunday is pretty boring.
Right, right. And the extra time on the track is only going to help, right?
Hmm. Yeah, seat time is, I mean, you can't get any better than that.
How much time do you get to practice at home?
Um, Lately, none. The past weekend we got out Saturday afternoon, but that was about it.
Wow, that's crazy. So more track time for you or more seat time is definitely going to make it better for you.
Yes, definitely.
So you guys don't have to rush home. You do have somebody to open the doors for the dealership,
Yeah.
when you're not there, right?
Hmm.
How does it work? Do the dealerships work pretty much the same in Canada as they do in the States? You sell machines and so on and so forth.
Yeah, my dad definitely has a really good team, like helping him out here. Because we're also like a rental business of like excavators and skid steers and like chippers and all that. But then there's also like the Honda Power Sports side of everything. And
That's
then there's,
a good diverse kind of job.
yeah,
And do you work for both companies or just the Honda Power Sports?
I'm just like a service like mechanic for like small engine stuff.
Nice, nice. That's
Yeah.
I'm, patting you on the back because very seldom do you find young ladies that will even get their hands dirty. And I have three daughters, and um, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, two of them don't know how to change tires, and one of them will try, but doesn't have the skill set for it. So
Mm. Yeah.
I guess that's my fault. I'm supposed to teach him, right? Oops, oops. You know, blame it on dad, right? Because I always want to take care of him. I mean, that's what dad's job is to do, is to take care of him.
Hmm.
Other than, if you couldn't get to a supercross team, but if there were other goals, would you ever consider being like a mechanic for an ATV professional rider?
That would be something I'd look into as well. That would be very cool.
With the skill set you have working on your own machine
Yeah.
and then the engine deal, you could roll into something like that.
Hmm.
I
Yeah, it'd be cool to even get into like building like my own or even like working for someone who builds these race quads.
that's totally true.
Hmm.
Um, finding a company, I mean, I don't know if they would have one in Canada, but you're most likely gonna have to move to the States to roll into that.
Yeah.
I need to ask a couple questions because I don't know the answers to these. Do you guys have to get a visa to come across every time, or is it because it's X number of days? How does that work?
Since it's only like 5 days for there, it's you just like show your passport, you go across and you come back kind of thing.
And you have your equipment. Do they ever give you static for your equipment or ask you questions about it?
They mostly ask if we have ownership for them and kind of like they'll look in the trailer and that's really about all we've had to do so far.
It seems to me as often as you make that trip, they'd be used to you.
Yeah, it's actually gotten a lot easier.
Yeah, because they know, oh, that's that race gal, you
Yeah.
know.
And now like we pull out all our information right in front, so we don't have to wait for them to ask. We kind of just give it all right there.
That makes it so much nicer.
Hmm.
We travel down south into Mexico, and if you're prepared, it just they don't
Yeah.
even. Well, sometimes they won't even talk to me because I don't speak Spanish, and
Yeah.
shush me along because they're pissed because they want to interact with me or do or have find out why my truck is set up the way it is
Hmm.
because I have a pickup that's been set up to haul a machine on the bed so I could
Oh
carry
yeah.
it back, and they want to ask questions about it almost every time I cross. And since I don't speak Spanish, it pisses them off.
Yeah.
And my wife's there, who's fully fluent. Um,
Oh yeah.
well, my wife was born in Mexico, so
Okay.
yeah, it makes it a little easier. I have a tour guide when we go. It makes my life
That's
so much better.
oh yeah.
But back to you. Um, where are your goals for WMX? I mean, where do you see yourself in WMX 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I'm not sure. I'd love to. I know I'll have to take like the next couple of years off just because I need to start working towards my other goals for working. But I would love to come back and even just ride for fun and do it for whatever.
You think 2025 may be the last season for you?
It's probably going to be my last competitive season. Yeah.
Wow, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. It was definitely harder last year because I kept telling myself I was finished because I was already like in college, technically. I was signed up, but then they canceled my program. So it was kind of like last year was a little stressful because I was like putting so much pressure on myself that I'm like, this is my last year. I have to make it the best that I can. But then, kind of after they told me that my program was canceled, it was like I calmed down and I was like, okay, like I might have another year. Like I just need to feel it out and just have fun.
What kind of college program are you going for?
This year, I was supposed to be in a motorcycle tech program, but not enough people signed up for it, so they had to cancel it.
So is it like a tech school that the government offering it?
Yeah, so it was like through like I guess it'd be a community college, and it was just like it was like a tech program that was held so you can get like your certifications for all that kind of stuff.
So do you have to be certified to work to be a mechanic in Canada?
No, that was more for like those like the street legal stuff. So like like motorcycles and street bikes. So I'd be like certified to safety them if I did that course.
So you could do safety checks
Yeah,
on the motorcycles. Is that something that's required for like registration and for them to be operated on the road from the government?
yeah,
Okay, so it's no different here than there.
no,
It's the revenue grab, right?
yeah.
Well, I mean that's great that you're heading that way. Have you
Mhm.
found the program to sign up and go through the schooling?
Yeah, so I'm currently right now I'm trying to apply for a visa to go to a school in Orlando. It's um I forgot the name right now, but it's a tech school down there and they do it's like a 12-month long program where you go and you learn like everything you need for like dirt bikes and all that kind of stuff and you can specialize in a certain brand if you wanted to.
It says, is it a motorcycle institute school?
Um I'm not sure on that. I just know that it's like a tech school, so you can do like multiple courses for like there's like automotive, heavy equipment and all that stuff in that school as well.
And you're only going to go for the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you gonna just make it solid Honda, or are you gonna work on everything?
I would love to have the opportunity to work on whatever.
Do
So
they
I
do they
just
offer
have my
that?
like options open.
Does the
Sorry?
school offer multiple brands?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
they do Honda, Yamaha. I'm not sure if they do KTM. I think it said Suzuki and Kawasaki. Yeah.
I can see them sticking to the Japanese brands because
Yeah.
you get to the KTM, it's totally different in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
The Austrians don't think everything through,
Yeah.
but it's okay. Some of their stuff is good. Um, that's awesome that you're, you know, looking to the future like that.
Hmm.
Have you looked into how you could become a race mechanic on a supercross team at all?
I have. So I recently applied, or not recently, a while ago, I applied for, it's called Pro SX MX School. So it's run by a guy that was a Supercross tech, and he kind of like sets you up pretty much like they pull techs from that school on two factory teams. But I never heard back, so I'm hoping if I go to this other tech school, that'll set me up better and have better like background to get into this one because they only take like 10 people a year.
I think that you should make sure that you keep trying.
Hmm.
Um, I know that when I'm dealing with somebody that wants to get a position, um, if they keep coming back and asking,
Yeah.
to me, that's a huge green flag
Hmm.
because they're motivated. The ones that don't ever come back or don't ask more than one time, I don't even think about them.
Yeah.
You need initiative, you need drive if you're going to do it. So keep pushing for that. I think
Hmm.
that's great. I think that person will see the fact that you keep popping in and popping in. Eventually they will, the green light will pop on and they'll go, "Hey, we need to take care of this young lady and get her in here and get it
Hmm.
taken care of." Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, Score, Best in the Desert, ATV-MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450 655 4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. I forgot to turn the phone off. Good thing it doesn't ring on the laptop. Yeah, it's pretty awesome that you're making all the right steps for that.
Hmm.
How many of the mechanics do you get to talk to at the races, or have you approached any of them?
I actually have yet to approach anybody, but that's just because I'm scared too and I don't want to be in the way. But I think like as the season goes on and it's a little less stressful for everybody, I might start like putting myself out there and talking to people who like, yeah.
I think I think they're all more than willing to talk.
Hmm.
I know when got to stand on that side of the fence, I would talk to anybody that would come up, as long as I wasn't going to the starting line or in the
Hmm.
middle of something. The riders as well as the mechanics, like if you go talk to Jeffrey Rastrelli, he's working on his own stuff as well as,
Hmm.
being a racer, and his dad helps him out. So they might have some good tips. I know Max Lindquist, him and his dad do a lot of the stuff together.
Hmm.
Uh, so There's multiple people. If you went and talked to Jeremiah Jones,
Have I?
yeah,
No, I have not.
you need to go talk to that man. He is brilliant and knows everyone and may have some other contacts that you would be interested in knowing or getting a hold of to help you along with schooling or,
Hmm.
further education that would allow you to reach your goals and dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just networking in the industry, and I think that don't hold yourself back.
Yeah.
You've established yourself as a professional racer, and you need to just put yourself out there. I think these people will receive you open arms. I
I
mean,
hope so.
I think I mean think about all the people that you meet at the ATV races.
Hmm.
I would say 98% of them or 99% of them are good people.
Hmm. Yeah.
What does mean?
No, I have met a lot of really great people at the track.
I'm probably not telling you anything that you haven't heard already, but I've gotten to meet and know a lot of those people.
Hmm.
Some of them from the years that I've been doing it, others just actually since I started ATV Talk, and you know, nobody nobody's ever been negative, especially when you ask
Hmm.
advice. Leon Spindon the third, that guy, he's super knowledgeable. You can talk to him.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy Osborne, you
Yeah.
know, he's super helpful. And if he doesn't know who for you to talk to, he'll find out. So there's 10 or 15 people you could go to immediately at the next round, and somebody would have information for you
Yeah.
because I want to see you reach your goals.
Yeah.
I want to bring you back on here as a professional race mechanic, you
Yeah.
know, and tell everybody about your journey because you're one of the few ladies that even has the desire to pick up a wrench.
Hmm.
My daughter's going to love this show.
Yeah. And I found like when I was in high school, like I took all the tech classes and there was just so much like negative talk for girls being in those classes. And it's like it was so hard to even like show up sometimes because of just like how negative guys were towards me or like the comments that I would get. And it's hard because there are girls that want to try that, but they don't want to go through that. And I've been trying to like with my cousin, she wanted to get into all that, but then she had people like being negative towards her and she was just like, "Oh, like I don't want to go through that." And it's sad because we need more women to do all those things.
Exactly. And the best thing that you can do is succeed
Hmm.
because all those boys that don't understand what they're talking about,
Yeah.
most of them will never carry on in the industry. They're just talking crap because they're actually jealous and scared.
Yeah.
Realistically, that's what it is. They're jealous and scared.
Yeah. And I think what got me through was I love to prove them wrong. So that was more of my attitude for all of that. So definitely helped.
Did they keep a ranking in the class when you go through those tech schools? Where were you ranking towards most of the men or boys? Excuse me.
Um, in my auto class, I was like, it was me and another girl that were like in the top of the class, and then everybody else was kind of below us, I guess.
So the girls owned the class and the boys talked crap.
Yeah. But I think that was just because like we wanted to be there and we wanted to kind of prove ourselves that we are better.
Well, you are. I mean, if you were better in the auto shop, you know, and you probably have more mechanical skills than most of them. That's that's great. Tell your cousin not to let that bother her. I mean,
Hmm.
it's just jealousy and ignorance, just like anytime somebody is, down on somebody for doing something, it's just ignorance basically.
Yeah.
But you keep working hard. Is there any other achievements or any other schooling that you think that you're going to look towards as far as maybe some machining classes, things like that?
Um, well, also in high school, I took a welding class. I am certified to stick weld. Um, but I do weld. I actually welded one of my brother's frames. It needed like motor mounts and stuff. I just welded them on. So I do have that side too, which is very helpful. And I actually fixed our trailer. The walls were cracking on the floors, so had to weld all that back together.
See, you're ahead of the curve already,
Yeah.
and remember, the schools are going to teach you laboratory style stuff or clean environment stuff.
Hmm.
All of these things that you're doing that are in the real world, that's so great because it gives you knowledge that some of the teachers don't even have.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the position that I'm in working for my dad because I have all of these opportunities to have those like real world problems that a teacher can't teach you, like what you said.
Yeah, I think you should take some machining classes so you
Hmm.
learn how to run machines. Try to learn some of the conventional stuff, not necessarily CNC stuff, because that I'm going to say this, and there's probably people out there that are going to be pissed at me, but that's kind of more of a parts changing job. When you can use the conventional machine, the lathe, the mill, whatever it is, that gives you a leg up on understanding the CNC stuff better.
Hmm.
It's a better education.
Yeah.
I don't use any of the machines like that. I use all conventional on any of the stuff that I'm working on. And I'm not working on, brain surgery stuff, just little things, but some people like to program it and run it. Well, I
Hmm.
won't. By the time they're done programming it, I've already made a bunch of my parts and have moved on
Yeah.
to the next job.
Hmm.
So it's just a feel thing. It's just things that you should know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's good stuff. Really good stuff. Read all the service manuals that you can.
Yeah.
Do the boys get intimidated when you don't have girly books? You have a shop manual or a tech book, you know.
Um, yeah, a little bit.
I totally agree with that. I think if I was young man and I met you like that, I would probably be a little intimidated.
Yeah.
Solely because you don't see it.
Yeah.
That's great. Do they promote it more in Canada? I'm talking about the teachers or the administration. They don't promote it at all?
No, not really, no.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like I found in being in the trade classes, like other teachers were like they really talk down trades, like any kind of trade, really. Like they're like, oh, you need to go to college and get a career and this and that. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to, yeah.
Well, look at it look at it from this standpoint. What feeds all of those people that have those degree jobs?
Hmm. And who builds their houses and who fixes their cars. Yeah, it's pretty sad how they talk down on it.
And this is one thing that I love. I'll match my resume to 90% of the college graduates in both countries
Hmm.
in my career versus their career, and we'll see who's got more accolades.
Hmm.
It's not about money, you
Yeah.
know, because I never went to college. I learned everything I know hands-on doing it, and I would prefer a hands-on job or a hands-on profession than a non any day of the
Hmm.
week.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you said, who's going to build their houses?
Yeah.
When you need a cabinet door hung, who's going to hang it?
Yeah.
That guy with the degree, He doesn't even know which end of the screwdriver to hold.
Yeah.
That's great, young lady. It's awesome that you're headed that direction. Is this something that comes from the upbringing with your family?
Yeah. My dad, he's a very like hands-on, like he'll teach me anything I want to know kind of thing. He used to build trucks and stuff, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Kind of been around it. He raced when I was younger. I don't remember a lot of it because I was pretty young, but that also brought up that.
What did your mom think of that?
She as we keep going with it, she's definitely getting a little more stressed out with it.
Because you're actually succeeding?
Yeah, and I think it's just more like she's scared of us getting hurt with the riding.
Well, I mean, there is that, but I mean, there's more accidents in cars every year
Hmm.
than anything else.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Like, you could fall down and break your arm just walking.
Well, look at this way. There's more doctor malpractice every year than there is any of the other stuff. So,
Hmm.
I could go to the doctor and get mistreated and injured far worse
Yeah.
than falling off my ATV.
Hmm.
So, I mean, just different perspectives,
Yeah.
But what does she think about your career choice?
She supported me all the way through. She loves everything that I've done, and she's kind of been like my personal cheerleader for all of it. It's amazing.
That's really great.
Hmm.
Having parents support you is ultimately better.
Hmm.
You said you had siblings. Do you have a you have your brother? Do you have a sister or is it another brother?
I have an older sister and a younger sister.
And what does your older sister do?
She's in graphic design right now. So she actually comes with us to the track and she does all my videos. And she made my poster and she has like a website and she also works for my dad right now. She does all of his website stuff and all of the social media stuff like that.
Nice. So he's got a great little team there. He's gonna have
Yeah,
a mechanic, he's gonna have the social media person.
yeah.
Got it dialed. Uh, your younger sister, how much younger is she than you?
She's 4,
Oh,
so
she's a
quite
baby.
a bit.
Yeah, and then your little brother's only 10. So they got
Hmm.
a little ways to catch up before they get involved in
Yeah.
any. That's excellent. Your
Hmm.
parents seem like they got it going on. There's quite a gap there in kids, though.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. But that you know what? I'd have had more kids, but it just never worked out. I have five now. I have
Hmm.
three girls and two boys and six grandkids. So are you ready to be captivated by one of nature's masterpieces? Discover the breathtaking beauty of Antelope Slot Canyon, a natural wonder in Page, Arizona. Join us on a guided tour and immerse yourself in the mystical light beams, rich colors, and serene landscapes. With tours at prime sunbeam hours, experience photographer's paradise and capture memories that will last a lifetime. Comfortable shoes, a camera, and a smile are all you need for this adventure. Book your journey today at Antelope Slot Canyon Tours and let the canyon enchant you. Please visit us now, antelopeslotcanyon.com, for more details. We get around. My
Yeah.
grandson's my oldest grandchild is 17,
Oh
16.
well.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know. I didn't think I am. We talked a little bit about, Iron Man, and you didn't get to race there last year. What's your favorite track on the circuit?
Sunset Ridge is my favorite, I think.
Sunset Ridge?
Yeah.
Why?
I love how rough it gets and like how deep it is. And it's like you kind of it's a track built for everyone. So if you're fast in the rough stuff, it's good. If you're fast in like those kind of corners, it's great. But then like there's bigger jumps. So if you're like it kind of breaks everybody up.
Right, right. I get it.
Hmm.
Any of the tracks that you don't like?
Um, I'm not a fan of Loretta Lynn's just because of last year. I fractured my back on the Ten Commandments. I tried to double them and it did not work out for me.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about it. You don't got to go back.
No. I'm glad about that.
I don't think that they'll ever have ATVs back.
I'm not sure.
I think it's a political thing. I'm not sure either. Um, I just know that we were going to Loretta's back in the 80s.
Hmm.
So I just don't understand why they wouldn't continue it. But then again, I'm not in charge of it. I get just get to live in our industry, not make any of the decisions.
Yeah.
That's excellent. What kind of machine do you ride?
I
All right.
ride a Honda hybrid. So it's a 2014 TRX frame, but it has a 2022 CRF 450 motor in it.
How do you like that machine?
I love it. It's amazing. It handles great. Rides amazing.
And that's the original 450 that you started on, or did you build this one
So
recently?
yeah, this is the original from 2 years ago.
That's pretty good that you have the same machine.
Yeah,
How's the frame holding up?
great actually. We I tore it all down this over the winter and had it repowder coated and everything, just like everything new is on it. So yeah,
That's, those CRF motors got some power, don't they?
they do.
Have you gotten to ride a YFZ 450R at all?
I got to try a 250 Yamaha and I did not like the way it rode. Now that's my personal preference. I know some people they love them and that's great for them, but it's just not I don't think it's for me.
You think it has something to do with the fact that you're just comfortable with what you have right now?
I think so because of just how long I've been on it and everything on my bike is lowered because of how short I am.
Come on now. What you and Joel Hetrick are almost the same size, right?
We might be. I think I'm a little shorter.
Okay, okay. So it's can't lower it that much more, can you?
No, like we have the seat shaved down a little bit. We have the lower subframe, and we actually got foot pegs that are. I think they called them the Joel Hetrick pegs because they're just a little bit taller.
Nice. That's the first I've heard about that, but that okay, yeah. How
Yeah,
tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
You're not that small.
No, I still wear kids riding boots.
That's small.
Hey,
Oh.
it's a lot cheaper though.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it
Hmm.
is. Excellent. So I want to ask you this question. You ride in the professional women's motocross class. Do you think that the professional women's class should be treated exactly the same as the professional men's class?
I think we should be treated like the pro-am class because I mean we get like the signing and we get like the 5 laps and everything. But I would love a sight lap before our motos. I know the pro-am guys they get a sight lap, which I think would be nice just to like feel out the track because you can go from race 13 and it being a super smooth, amazing track to then Moto 2 and it's a whole other track you're riding.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Uh, I don't disagree with that. Have you guys went to the board and asked them questions like that at all?
No, we haven't. No.
Although that's probably the reason why you haven't got it yet. But
Yeah.
what I was trying to get at is if you're going to be considered a professional class, I just wanted to know if you think you should be following the professional rules. You do realize that there is a production rule in the pro class and the pro am class.
Yeah.
So that change your class drastically.
A lot, actually. I think almost 90% of our class is girls on hybrid bikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So,
Yeah.
is this a negative or a reason to hold off for you?
Yeah. I think that would definitely hurt our class if that had to happen because of like everybody would have to switch to a bike and then that's expensive and people are already kind of struggling to get to these races. But I don't, I think that's more of like we shouldn't be like treated like have those rules just with all of that to think about.
Just for a cost reason,
Hmm.
maybe that rule be excluded.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that the women's class gets enough press?
Um, I think so. I mean, I sometimes we get a video here and there, which is great, but I don't know.
Just have never, are these things that I'm asking you things that you haven't thought of?
I
Or
really haven't thought about these kind of things, no.
beings that we're in 2025, and if you look at all of the things that are going on with women's athletics around the world,
Mhm.
the reason I ask is because supporting more media, more, rules focused on growing the women's professional sport. These are things that you ladies need to push and be, in the forefront,
Mhm.
asking, you should be out asking for that site lap, you know, give us more equal playing field. Granted, I don't think it would ever be equal to the men's because the men's class right now is the draw for the spectators. But there's
Mhm.
a lot of people out there that watch your class and that root for you guys.
Yeah.
So just throwing it out there, just to see what your take on it is.
Yeah.
I watch these kind of things and look at it, and every gal I have that comes on that's in, whether it WXC or WMX, I ask them.
Mhm. Yeah.
I want to know. I want to know what you're thinking, where your sport should be elevated to. You know,
Yeah.
who's your idol as far as female mechanics? Do you know of any other female mechanics? Any professionals?
I really don't actually. My idol's always kind of just been my dad, like for that kind of stuff.
I don't know of any. I'm sure there's one out there, but I don't know of any in the industry, especially the
Yeah.
ATV.
I like on Instagram I do follow like women that like work on like monster trucks and stuff. But like anything that I do, I haven't found someone. But I also haven't really been looking for that, I guess.
Well, you may be the trailblazer, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be first, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, well, I think that you're young still, and you'll get a little bit more aggressive as you get a little older.
Hmm.
You know, as you see the things that you want, and you just reach out and you have to take them. You
Yeah.
have to fight for them. If you don't, you're not going to get them.
Yeah.
Anything that you would pass on to youth riders that um, would be listening to this show?
Um,
What's some advice?
I'm like advice wise,
Yeah,
um, I'd say it's really hard, but don't put an insane amount of pressure on yourself that you need to do good. You need to take that off and kind of just make sure you're having fun.
right,
Mhm. Because it's a lot to like you can kind of lose it where you're like, oh, I need to do really good, I need to do good, but then you have to remember why you're doing it is because you love it.
right, right,
And I struggle with that, and I see my brother, he struggles with that where he's like he wants to like have those finishes where he does good, but then he has that pressure on him where he's like, I guess he doesn't look happy if he doesn't finish great. But it's definitely a hard thing to do.
correct. It is. It's very hard because
Mm-hmm.
um, you just got to keep it within your world.
Mm-hmm.
Not always are you going to be the fastest one of the on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Some days you're just going to be on the track.
Yeah. Well, that's how I felt last weekend. Like it was not a track that I felt comfortable on, but that's just because I'm still working through like the mental side of after my crash, getting over the fear of doubles. But at the end of the weekend, I was like, I'm okay. I had fun and I'm okay with that. It was not my weekend. And I'm just going to keep pushing harder into the next one.
Right. That's all you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the psychological deal of getting over your crash.
Mm-hmm.
Was it hard to jump on the machine the first time and,
Yeah.
and head out on the track?
Yeah, because I mean, it was the last race. Like everything had built up to this, and then I crashed, and then like you get back, and I watched that whole weekend, and it was like, because if I had raced, I would have had second in WMX. It would have been my first time ever getting second. But um, yeah, I mean, and then waiting kind of all winter for the doctor to tell me that I was okay to ride again was definitely hard. And I was just kind of trying because with your back you can't do much. I couldn't really go to work because you couldn't lift anything. So that like mental side of like, and I was like thinking going into it like, how am I going to feel on the bike? Like not physically, but like mentally, because I've struggled mentally with like that kind of stuff.
I think that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can bypass it, some people can't. It's
Yeah,
just and it's self-training
yeah,
basically, but I will hold nothing against you for second guessing it at all.
yeah,
I mean, I hate jumping. Hey, you
yeah,
know, I don't, God didn't give me wings and I'm keeping my tires on the ground.
yeah,
Well, at least I'm trying.
yeah. And I mean, like that first time we went down to Florida to Deckers to train, like it was I guess it was like it was scary because like it was just like I had all this built up of like being excited to ride, but then I'm like, how am I gonna feel? And physically I was good, but just like slowly trying to get back into jumping again was hard. But it's just something you gotta have to keep pushing and like seat time again, like you can't you can't replace that riding with anything else.
Right. It
Yeah.
almost would have been easier to just get up, get back on the bike and go hit a jump,
Yeah.
if you could have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always like those crashes when you have no idea what happened
Yeah.
and you just wake up and you're on the bike and you're like, what happened? You know,
Yeah.
oh, freaking threw it away and da 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 da. Well, okay, great. I'm glad I don't remember.
Yeah. I've definitely had crashes like that. Like I've crashed many times before this time, but I've always gotten up and finished. So this was like the first time I didn't get up and I didn't finish. So that was also like a mental toll on me.
I'm sure that mom and dad weren't too happy.
Especially because my mom was like right there and she watched it happen. It was hard for her.
Yeah, I mean, it's you watch kids do things. It is hard,
Hmm.
because they are going to get hurt. You just have to love them and take care of them.
Hmm.
So that's awesome. Olivia, I want to thank you so much for coming on ATV Talk.
Thank
If
you
you
for
have
having me.
any, oh, my pleasure. If you have updates or anything that you want to share with us or share with the community, make
Hmm.
sure that you get it to us, whether you email it or text me or tag us, and say, hey, I need something posted. We'd be more than glad to help you out. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to share us with your family and friends. The podcast is available on all streaming platforms, and you can find us on social media as ATV Talk Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter